Hi, welcome back to Heels in Business. Today is a very special day. It's my birthday and you are joining me on a special trip to the Champagne region in France. I'm at the Eurotunnel at the moment and about to board the train. I am now on the train, so the Eurotunnel to Calais. The plan for this weekend is to drive from Calais to a region called Epernay, and that's in the Champagne region of France. So there's a region in France which is called the Champagne region, and the main towns in that region are REIMS and Epernay, and I'll be staying in Epernay over the weekend. The plan for the weekend is clearly to drink champagne. I've booked a tour at Moët. Where I'm staying is literally in the heart of Epernay. There's a road there called Avenue de Champagne, where most of the big houses for champagne are, but also some much smaller houses. So the plan really is to eat and drink lots over this weekend. I made it to the Champagne region. I am in Epernay in France. I checked into my Airbnb and then I was whisked away to Leclerc Briant in Epernay. Sorry, my brain is trying to switch from English to French because I think I can speak French. I was treated to a lovely tour of Leclerc Briant where we got educated on how they produce their champagnes, the different fermentation processes, the barrels. We went down into the cellars and then finished off on a really great tasting. So in the end I think I got free. It's my birthday today, so they treated me to an extra special one. So I tried their Premier Cru champagne, a pink rosé champagne, and then they brought out one of their most expensive ones, and I have to say it was, well no, I had 4 I think in total, so I had 3, and because it was my birthday they treated me to an extra one which was around, I think that was 145 euros for the bottle, and genuinely their most expensive champagnes. I could completely understand why someone would buy those champagnes. They were genuinely so good, and in particular my favourite was their 115 euro champagne. My brain struggles with the concept of spending that much on a champagne, so in the end I did buy 2. I didn't buy, my husband bought for my birthday because I'm so special. I picked a Premier Cru champagne and a rosé, which are around I think 45 euros each. approximately, and in my head that's pretty much, I struggle with that thing. I was thinking 150, I can get one bottle of champagne or I can get two, so I went for two. One day I will be at the point where I think, yeah, I'll just get one, but genuinely all the champagnes were really good. We tried a demi-sec champagne as well. I'm much more of a fan of drier champagnes, so I went for the ones I liked. Brilliant start to my stay in Epernay. Finished the champagne tour. Have to get my words out correctly, and I am a bit hungry, so I'm going to find some food. You can join me. Most of the places here aren't open for dinner until 7:30, but I'm very hungry, so we'll see what we can find now. There's a sushi place that's open, so I might try that. So this is Epernay. I booked Airbnb for this trip. Interestingly, this building here is above a post office, and we are one of the apartments on the second floor. And it's actually a really nice apartment, and it's nice to be in the centre of Epernay. So this is the La Banque Postale, as you can see, the post office, and we have an apartment literally just above it there, and the Avenue de Champagne is in this direction, and we are walking in this direction to find some food. Fortunately, the weather is quite nice. Last weekend I was checking it and it was a good mid-20s centigrade. Today it's about 20, but it's perfectly fine, so I'm not complaining. I left the UK and it was raining, so anything's better than there at the moment. And I definitely need some food to saturate all the champagne I'm drinking. Right, so let's carry on finding some food. Oh yeah, I should point out my French t-shirt, Amour, in France. I like to assimilate with the region that I'm in. For any of you that have travelled in France, I would say this is your very typical French town. It is very much like this. You'll have your bakeries, your wine shops, your clothes shops. Although, look, there's a Sephora. So this is already better than any UK town that I know, because we don't get Sephora everywhere in the UK. My ideal spend. Happy to spend a lot of money in this shop. So I'm just following Google Maps. I found a sushi place that's open, so I might eat there, or I might eat somewhere else. Who knows? I have eaten, and it was much needed. Champagne tasting when you've missed lunch and only had a tiny breakfast is not such a great idea. No, it was a brilliant idea, but I feel a lot better now that I've finally eaten. I decided on Japanese. Yes, I know it's a bit strange to be in France and be eating Japanese food, but I just wanted something that I could snack on and have bits of sushi, chicken, beef, so yeah, really good. I think they're closed anyway. busy in there. Come in. Welcome to my Airbnb apartment. In here we have the bedroom. Through here we have the bathroom. You won't be able to see it now, but there's a great view out of the park behind. Toilet, and then a nice lounge area here, TV and kitchen area. So a nice apartment literally in the heart of Epernay. It was actually larger than I thought from when I booked the Airbnb. Really happy, really reasonably priced for the location and what we're getting. There was water, coffee facilities here, parking, so no complaints. Good morning, I am waking up in Epernay in France. It's Saturday morning. So yesterday we arrived, I done a champagne tasting, which was probably more glasses than I needed, but it was a very good champagne tasting. But today I'm waking up, I'm going to find some breakfast before we head over to Moët for another tour and tasting. Just walking back now to, have breakfast. It was very good. The reviews were a bit questionable, so if you're ever in Epernay, in the centre town, and you're looking on Google reviews, you might notice that a lot of the restaurants, especially for breakfast time and lunch, are not that great. But my thinking on that is, I think when you're in France, the way that they are, French people, can come across a bit abrupt and maybe not as attentive or friendly as some of us are used to. But we just went into a place that the reviews are okay, and a lot of complaints about the service, but I have to say they were really, really friendly, smiley, very quick with their service, but perfectly fine. So I think you just have to adjust your expectation when you're coming to France in certain towns. Not everyone is really slow and there with you at the table checking in on you. It's very quick service, but I would say perfectly fine. And the breakfast was really good. I had a croque madame with coffee, and I'm ready to go. Get ready for my champagne tasting. Looky. I have to admit, it looks very, very nice. We are now walking to Avenue de Champagne, where a lot of the big champagne houses are, including Moët. It's definitely nice to be staying in the centre and knowing we can just walk to anywhere. Maybe we can come back later and visit the Champagne Fair. It would seem here that most roads you can just walk out on, so there's zebra crossings and the cars will stop. But also sometimes there's not zebra crossings. In the town centre the cars seem to all stop. I'm not saying to walk out in front of anyone, but see? They just stopped. It's up here. Avenue de Champagne. It's nice. And there you go. Made it to Moët. I only booked in for Moet last weekend, and they have different tours in different languages. Well, 2 languages for that I'm aware of, French and English, and they tell you on the website, so you have to select which one you're interested in, select the date, and then they'll tell you the times and what languages they've got available. By the time I'd booked it, the only one that was available was the Grand Vintage Tour, which is their most expensive, which is fine. So €45 per person, and you get 2 glasses of the vintage champagne. So that's the tour we'll be on today. Just inside Moet, I booked the tickets online. I had to print them up and then literally just went to the desk, got my tickets, and the lady gave me these 2 cards to join the tour. So someone's going to find us in about 10 minutes to start our tour of Moet. And this is the entrance area, so they've got, to be honest, I haven't read most of it yet. A lot of very old books. You can tell I've been paying a lot of attention. Now this is interesting. So they have a letter, so in French, and they've got it translated into English, typed up so that we can actually read what's written. So from 89, but when the request for wine came in. In the cellars. The tour is going really well so far. Just had a history lesson on champagne and about the different types of grapes. Very good. So I think each section has the amount of bottles in each bed. Getting narrower as we go down.
Okay, so the first line over there, a secret code. After you cut the grapes, the machine is going to damage the skin. The skin is black, you are going to have red or pink wine, and you want to have white wine. It's the only behind. The day you cut the grapes, the same day you press the grapes, yeah? And all the pressing centers, they are all around the vineyard.
So we've just finished the tour of the cellars where we saw where they store all the champagne bottles and Dom Perignon, and this is where they do the riddling, which is the turning of the bottle. Now for the tasting. It's cool, isn't it? So it tells you how much you pay by a bottle if you buy the case of 6. Okay. Finished the tour of Moet. The tour ended with a tasting of their two vintage, a pink champagne and a non-pink champagne. I have to admit, I didn't really like the first champagne. The pink was good, but I wouldn't buy it personally. And then once you're done with the tasting, you're into their boutique so that you can buy away glasses and all of their selection of champagnes. They've got a huge selection of Dom Perignon in here as well, with the different levels of Dom Perignon that you can buy. Two champagne tours now, Leclerc Briant and Moet. I would highly recommend doing both, definitely. Moet is much more commercial as soon as you walk in, and as I found out, they own a lot of other companies like Veuve Clicquot, can't remember the others, but they're a massive house in comparison. The tour was really funny, the lady was brilliant, she was entertaining, their cellars are absolutely huge as well, so it is definitely an experience. When we got to the tasting bit, that's where I would say, for me, Moet does not win at all. Great in terms of coming to the tour and learning about Moet and the history, but their champagnes are definitely not on par with others, and I would say Leclerc Briant was a lot better. Their champagne quality, taste, and also the experience of the tasting was a lot better. I was fortunate enough to end up with a private tour and private tasting, ended up with an extra free champagne as well because it was my birthday. 4 was probably a bit too much to have, but it was brilliant, and I managed to try a much more diverse selection of their champagnes. But in comparison to the fact that with Moet I've tried their vintage, which is supposedly better than their imperial, I would say Leclerc Briant is much better. There is literally an abundance of champagne houses here, and you can easily spend a good 4 days, 5 days here and visit so many. I think this is brilliant. If you love champagne, I highly recommend it because it gives you an opportunity to visit places and have a tasting. And I think that's really how you find what champagne you like. And yeah, just too many. I don't know which ones to go to. So back to the apartment, and I don't know, we'll pick another house. Fun fact for you, I think I read somewhere that there is about 240 million bottles of champagne underneath this road here. So all the houses have their cellars where they store all their champagnes during the fermentation process, but also when they're in the bottles, and to create the different lengths of period that they get to create the champagne. And yes, an incredible amount of champagne literally underneath my feet here. It's now about 3:45 in the afternoon on Saturday. I've had lunch, went to a nice patisserie for dessert and coffee. It was really nice. Tip, if you're ever in France or Epernay, try and have your lunch within the designated lunch times, otherwise it can be very hard to find somewhere to eat. Fortunately, we caught the very tail end of lunch and managed to get somewhere. But yeah, try and eat at the right time. French are very particular about their lunch. Now I've done 2 tours. So this other house that we're going to is called Alfred Gratien, and it's got really good reviews. For this particular trip, I'm more interested in these houses that I don't know of rather than all the big brand names that we all know at home, and it's just nice to try champagne. And yeah, I'm going there. I've booked a tasting of free champagnes, and you are going to join me. other side of the fun fair that we saw this morning when we was on our way to Moet. So this is the other side, and it's alive. We might walk back through on the way back, but number one, tasting of champagne needs to be done first. Up the hill and almost at the champagne house now. So I have just finished a tasting at Alfred Gratien. What did I do? I ended up trying 3 of their champagnes. Really good actually. I tried one of their Grand Cru Blanc de Blanc, which was really nice. Genuinely like that, and that's about €50 per bottle. Then tried one of their blended vintage champagne, so it was a blend of different years of vintages, and it was very complex. I wasn't such a fan of that. It was still nice, but not for me, a bit too complex. And then I tried their pink champagne, which was very nice as well. That was in the region of, I think, €85 per bottle, and that was genuinely nice. But my favourite was their Blanc de Blanc, which is, if those of you who don't know, that means it's made purely of Chardonnay grapes, and that was really nice. But between Alfred Gratien and Leclerc, I'm not sure. Both do really good champagne, and bar none, much better than Moët. You cannot even compare. So definitely Leclerc and Alfred Gratien wins. But my favourite, I'm not sure. I would have to go back to Leclerc to try. Right, so I started at Moët, had lunch, then went to Alfred. Let me get my bag. Alfred something. I can't remember the name. It's quite hard trying to remember all the names. Alfred Gratien, which was actually very good, and really liked one of their champagnes, but wasn't really sure whether I preferred that over Leclerc Briant. Fortunately, Leclerc Briant has 2 locations in Epernay. They have where they make and produce the champagne, so that's where I done the tour yesterday, and then they also have a location on Avenue de Champagne, which is where I am, and I literally just walked about 5 minutes from Alfred Gratien to Leclerc just to compare the champagnes, because I really liked one of Alfred's Gratien's champagne, but wasn't really sure which I preferred out of the 2. So I'm back at Leclerc Briant. I have my favourite from there, which I did not buy because I'm tight. It was 150 champagne. This is their Blanc de Meunier, which I really liked, so I've ordered it again just to see whether I still like it. In addition, another champagne here. It's so far my favourite champagne that I've tried. Last day in Epernay. It is Sunday, and I'm going to find some breakfast before heading back home to the UK. I just walked past the Epernay Sunday market. Looked really good. The fruit and veg also looked really good. But this is the issue with travelling, because I'm off to Atlanta tomorrow. There's no point me buying anything because I won't be home to have it. So looks great, but I won't be taking any home. Just on my way Made it to Eurotunnel in Calais. As you can see, there is a lot of traffic caused by what I imagine is their own border control, or how they're allowing us to check in. I mean, this is one of the largest queues I've ever seen here, but oddly enough, I only ever see it on this end in Calais, never in Folkestone in the UK side. So I really don't know what it is about how they manage people checking in to board the train over here in France, but something clearly does not work. So made it through check-in for Eurotunnel. It was a bit hectic and crazy with the massive queues. So you check in and then go through French border control and then the UK border control as well, and we were straight into queuing up for the train. There were people that were clearly missing their train as well. So whatever system they have here is not working at all.
Yeah, she split up. Okay.
Joining me on the trip to Champagne. I've been wanting to go there for a number of years now, and I absolutely loved it. It's a place that I would definitely recommend coming to if you're ever in Europe or in France. It's perfect whether it's for a birthday, out with family, friends, whatever it is. It's definitely a must-do place, and I definitely think, even though I like Champagne anyway, I definitely learn a lot more and appreciate far more about the process of making champagne, and that slightly better appreciation as to why we have the varied prices of champagne, anything from say €30 up to in excess of €100 and far more. And having understood about the process, the time it takes, the aging process, it's definitely given me a much better appreciation and possibly like it even more. I'm not too sure about that, but yeah. I've come back with 2 bottles of champagne, which isn't too bad, and could have easily have spent far more out there. In terms of food, I wouldn't say I spent a lot of time finding the best restaurants to eat in Epernay. I think pretty much drinking champagne took over everything during the trip, but I still had nice meals, and on the way back to Calais I found a really good restaurant. It was quite a long dining experience, a good hour and a half to 2 hours, which is very typical of how the French like to eat, I think, but still managed to have some good food out there. probably not your typical French affair by having Japanese, and I think I had kebab yesterday, which was a bit random. But overall, brilliant experience and highly recommend. Hope you've enjoyed watching this travel vlog with Heels in Business. Please subscribe, please comment below if you've got any other requests. Thank you for watching.